Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I hope you're fine, and I'm sure you enjoyed my last class where we talked about the process of writing. And I gave you 6-step process of writing in which we start from, inventing stage, and then collecting stage, and then organizing stage, and after that, drafting, revising and proofreading. And in our last class, we discussed only first two, rather I would say 1.5. In the first one, we talked about inventing. We invent our topic, subject, and we decide about our readers. And the second was collecting stage. Collecting stage means, source of information. And I said, there are two major sources of information. One is internal. Second is external. Internal is you yourself, as a writer. And my point of view was that you have enough stock of information stored in you. What you need to do is simply bring that information out from your mind. And I discussed with you, 3 methods. The first method was free writing, that how to bring information with the help of free writing. Free writing has got many, purposes. Of course, number one, it kicks you start as a writer. Number two, it helps you bring out the very reason for writing, which was in your mind, primarily. And the number 2 method was probing. Ask yourself different questions, about your topic, and keeping the purpose in mind. Ask your friends those questions. Ask the people living in your neighborhood those questions, and then compare different pieces of information and see whether that information is leading or not. The third, important method to well out information from your mind is brainstorming. Brainstorming is another, way of, collecting information based on your own previous knowledge, experience, observation. An important thing for free writing I mentioned was that don't stop till your clock beeps. If you have set out for 5 minutes, for example, so don't stop till your clock beeps for 5 minutes. Time's up. Thank you very much. So this is how you can do. For probing, well, there is no range. 100 many questions, you can ask yourself. I gave you 20 questions, which are very, very important for writers. In brainstorming, important thing not to do is that don't ask yourself this question, is it relevant or not relevant? So these things, we discussed in our previous class. And today, I'll start from external source of information. Let me tell you one thing which is very important. Good writers, especially journalists, they should love reading. They should be very good readers. Your good writing depends upon your good reading, actually, frankly speaking. So all good journalists, all good writers, they should read a lot. They should read newspapers. They should read magazines, journals, scholarly books, autobiographies, biographies, manuscripts. They should not leave anything not read. They should be regular, library goers. And they should know little bit about everything. They should know about nature, science, history, politics, sociology, cultures, norms and values, the sacred cows, the scapegoats, even the economy, the economics, the financial status of, different companies, different countries, every little bit of everything. Good writers, because this is something very important and, of course, demanding also. So, my first external source is, of course, library, number 1. Number 2, I would ask you, go for internet. And number 3, go for resource persons. Let's start from the library. What library offers you? Well, library will offer you many things. That's a house of knowledge, actually, library. You can find wonderful books over there. You can find magazines and journals. You can find, encyclopedia. You can find biographies of people. You can find original manuscripts also of writers written, by themselves in their own hands, in their own ink. You can find some electronic, resources inside the libraries, recorded interviews, recorded talks, discussions, You can find audio-visual, of course, in both form. So this is how, library can, of course, guide you. But today, I'll, of course, love to tell you, of course, what libraries are, but I would like to discuss about libraries a little further. That what systems actually libraries follow. Look here, all libraries in the world, they follow two systems. One is a Library of Congress, related system, and second one is simplified, Dewey system. You can see on your screen that the first system, which I said, Library of Congress classification. Now here, books are classified actually in alphabetical form. I mean, if you go to such libraries, which follows Library of Congress system, for example, you would find books are, categorized or classified, by some alphabet, A, B, C, D, or A capital, then A small. This is how you would find all entries, given out there. The second system, which I said is simplified Dewey decimal system. In this system, you find books categorized or classified with numbers, for example. Let's say 400 or 300 or 800 or 700 or 100 or 2. So this is how, all the works you would find classified. I would like to give you a bird's eye view of different subjects classified how. And then you can see your own subject, going into the library, not asking anybody, librarian or any, assistant over there, like where can I find, books on history or on sociology or on psychology. You should know yourself which section you should go and find, books from. Let's discuss, first of all, the Library of Congress, different subjects, how they are categorized. On your screen, you can see A to Z, alphabet are there, plus, the subjects are also written next to, the relevant alphabet. For example, in A category, you will find general, works. And in B, you would find philosophy and religion. If you find C written on books, it means history of civilization you can find. D is for general history. E to F is American history, especially, it's meant for. G is geography and anthropology. H is social science, J is political science, K is law, L goes for education, M for music, N for fine arts, P language and literature, Q is science, R is medicine, S agriculture, T for technology, U for military science, V for naval science, and Z for bibliography. Let's say your area is geography. You know that, I'll go to the section where books are categorized under G, okay? You can find on the back of the books, the G thing plus book number will be there. So the whole section, the whole, that shelf is, of course, for you. If you're interested in political science, of course, you'll go to the J category of books. If you want to know about agriculture, of course, S, will be there. If you are interested in knowing about the bibliography, for example, then, of course, Z will be there. History of civilization, you can find C. So this is how, you become self-dependent, actually. You go and, you find out your books. Now, a brief idea of this Dewey, simplified system of book categorization. General works, they are categorized 000, and philosophy and psychology is 100. So if you find 100 on books, they will be all about philosophy and psychology. Religion, 200. So books under 200 is religion, 300 social science. And then you have, subsections of 300, like 310 is statistics, 320 is political science, 330 is economics, 340 will be law, And 350 administration, 360 welfare, 370 education, 380 public services, 390 customs and folklore. And then comes 400, which is philosophy, and 500 pure science, 600 applied science, 700 fine arts, 800 literature, and 900 history. So this is how, you can find books from the library yourself. Now, another important thing. Look, these days, previously there used to be, card system actually, the card catalog. You would go to the library, you would find, a huge card section over there, all books present with the author's name, publisher's name, the title of that work, and accordingly you would find out. These days, like, there are electronic gadgets available. Computer stuff is, present all in the libraries. You can go there and you can find out books by, if you know, for example, the author's name. So you can write author's surname. For example, if my name is Imran Chaudhary, then Chaudhary is my surname or family name. So I can write, that name, I can enter, and, that person's 1, 2, or 3 books, can be in front of me, and I can shortlist, like, which I'm interested in, and I can, of course, go and myself, like, bring from, the shelves. If you don't know the author's name, you can, insert publisher's name. And, of course, you can find books of that publisher. Or, straight away, if you know the book, then simply write the title of that book. Then it's, the computer, of course, will give you its accession number, and that accession number, you can take to, some specialized shelf, and from that shelf, you can trace out the accession number of, that very book, and this is how, you can find books and bring back onto your table, and, like, you can, browse them. Books are, as far as the writer's name is concerned, they are not categorized by their first or middle name, by the surname. Please don't forget that. And if you know how we prepare bibliography, and that bibliography is very important in understanding that how books are, categorized. Like, writer's name is there. First, you find writer's name. So the best choice will be the writer's name. Second choice is the name of that book. Third choice can be the edition, that is very much part of that book. Then comes the publisher. The third important choice, publisher, and accordingly, like, it goes ahead. This is how, we find books from the libraries. First source of information was you. Now you want to expand that source of information. I mean to say, you want to beef up that, information. Then the second source as an external source is the library. In library, variety of information. Journals are there. If you are writing something on economics, for example, there are some international journals on economics available. You can go there and, you can find those. There are encyclopedia available, There are, in hard form, fact files available in the library. If you want to know, for example, the statistics about Pakistan, for example, all stat about it, the economic situation in the past and economic situation now, and its predictions, forecasting, for example, all these things. There are fact files available, in the libraries. You can browse those fact files, and you can, collect very, very, very fruitful data to support your argumentation, and, and of course, by quoting this much qualitative data, you will convert your writing into very concrete one. Your approach will be not generic, now very specific, full of facts and figures, convincing, quite persuasive. Now let's come down to this online, which we call internet. This is something, I would say, very, frankly speaking, modern day library now, which has reached everybody's home. Sitting at home, by your own computer, you can approach libraries all over the world. You can approach database all over the world. You can approach, isolated, articles dispersed onto this World Wide Web, you can consult and, take help from. Before you go and search information from internet, please keep in mind the difference between physical libraries, which we call as like the libraries in your town, where you can physically go and physically, get hold of books and browse them. And this is, of course, internet is, of course, not a physical library. I mean, you can, of course, electronically, you can seek information from. Please keep in mind, what's the difference in these? The difference is the credibility, the authenticity, actually. In libraries, when you go and you get help from different books, you know exactly the author, you know exactly the publisher, you know exactly the edition number, you know year of publication, you know exactly what areas of that book, you are going to consult or you have consulted. Everything is very much authentic. But this doesn't happen actually when you collect information from internet. On internet, you don't know that the article which you are consulting is really written by the person who is claiming. So the writer, so there are some doubts actually, there are some reservations, consulting or quoting information from internet. But still there are some extremely authentic, information sources available online, of course, which we can, take help from. So be very careful. My advice is, when you consult anything from internet, make it sure that the internet source is authentic. Writer's name is there. The date of uploading is there. When you download any information, please mention that downloading date also. Okay. If it's a second author, then please find out who was the primary author. So all these many things, because tomorrow people are going to question you actually, your source of information. If you say, well, I prepared the whole stuff with the help of online material, people, they will have a lot many, I would say, dislikeness, displeasure, and they'll have doubts about, the authenticity of the information. So make sure that whatever you are writing is yours, original, plus spotted by the ideas taken out from different books or online with due acknowledgement. Look here, there is no pleasure in owning someone else's work. This plagiarism thing is, questioned these days, that whatever you're writing, people are going to, ask 1,000 many questions about its credibility, about its authenticity, about its originality. So why to own, why to name, why to, use someone else written and publish it by your own name? Why? What's the point behind? When it's not your work, why to give your name? Rather, have original idea and get your idea spotted by different writers that could be taken out from books or online, and say them, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I consulted you. Thank you very much. I took help from you, and acknowledge them, give their name, give the source and everything, and, wow, you are safe. So safe writing, I would, suggest you. So online can be highly, highly useful. Today, I'll, give you some important search engines, which you can use and download some important, information about your area. For example, on your screen, you can see I have listed 10 search engines, and I named it, top 10 search engines. Perhaps these days people are, stuck with Google only or Yahoo only, but there are better search engines, available. You can try. Like the first one, of course, it's evergreen. Google is number one, of course. That is the best search engine, I would say. The second one, All the Web. All the Web is another, search engine. This is very fast and very clear. It is going to shortlist information from all corners of the world. Very efficient, very user-friendly search engine. You can, of course, use it. The third one is Of course, Yahoo, from Yahoo you can find directories, and of course, it's a search engine also. Then is Hotbot. Hotbot is another, maybe it's a new for you, but it is another very nice search engine, and it is going to give you directories, plus it can be used as a simple search engine. Then is About. About is our fifth, important search engine. The specialty of About is that it's in a way safe, with the sense that here all the writings are available with authors' clear-cut names. Sometimes there are images also, and all possible information like what you call that, the year of publishing, the date of uploading, and the original writers and all. The next one is Excite. Maybe it's again new for you. It gives you directories and search engine. The next one, 7, i1. i1 is another, it's newly launched search engine, and nice one, not bad actually. Then is MSN, and ninth one is Complete Planet. And the last one is Alta Vista. These are 10 search engines which you can use to search information from the World Wide Web. Use them carefully. There should be only one precaution, and that precaution is make sure whatever information you download from, it is duly acknowledged. Writer's name, the web name, the full web address, the date of uploading, and the date of downloading. These pieces of information you are going to note down with every information source this is my advice, please do it. Then, of course, your work will be considered authentic. Otherwise, people would say, no, we are not happy, of course, with this. I don't know where, you fabricated yourself or someone fabricated and uploaded and you downloaded and coded, in your writing. Don't do that. Let's go ahead and see some more important links. Now, the links which I'm going to show you now, they are extremely imperative, valuable, I would say golden links. People simply resort to search engines, and that to Google or Alta Vista or Yahoo, but I gave you a list of top 10 search engines. Now I'm going to give you 8 extremely important links. They are going to be your friends of all time. They are not fair weather friends only. They are friends, for all time, for all weathers. Like on your screen, the first information source, I've given you online newspapers. Look here, this link, which I can read it for you, this is ipl.org, and then, of course, / and news you'll write, IPL link. From this link, you can find all the newspapers of all countries, not from Pakistan, from India, from China, from America, European newspapers, American newspapers, Asian newspapers, Far East newspapers, just name a newspaper and you will find it there. Such a wonderful thing. And newspapers in Urdu also, newspapers in English also. If there's any Punjabi newspaper, you'll find even Punjabi news, especially from India, for example. You'll find this also available on this site. Very, very good one. Very, very good one. And another interesting thing is that if there is one news family, for example, let's say, news family means that a company which has 9 or 10 or 11, different newspapers, you'll find the whole news family available on this website. So if you start counting these newspapers, probably there'll be more than 1,000. Maybe I've never tried counting it. Maybe there are more than even 2,000-3,000 newspapers available here. So this is for you. You can open this link. You can make it your favorite. When next time you need any sort of information from, of course, you can seek it. The second important link I have given you is World Fact File. I can only say, oh my God, this World Fact File, this is actually prepared by United States. This is United States, link. And here, what they have done is, they have collected database about every country, big or small. And the information which they have given out is, about every, field, every aspect, every department of that country. For example, let's say Pakistan, you'll find, number of provinces, you'll find the area division of these provinces, you'll find different languages, spoken in those provinces, you'll find number of people in those provinces, you'll find the separate, economic status of that, you can find the economic status of the people, education, the religion thing, the social norms also. I mean, every piece of information. Maybe chances are about your own country, you will not have that much information, the much you can, find on this link, which is World Fact File. Its address I've given you is bartleby.com/151. Now, this link, open it, make it your favorite. If you want to know anything about India, the number of religions they have, the different communities they have, the economy of that country, the imports and exports of that country, and what are their different 5-year plans, 4-year, 3-year plans, everything you can find. And then you can have a comparative analysis also. You can important the military strength of India. You can open the Bangladesh, military strength. You can compare and contrast, at the same time. World Fact File is something out of this world. And of course, another advice is, do not follow any link blindly, of course. Keep all the lights on, okay? And see if you find any doubts anywhere, no problem. You can counter check it. If anything find doubtful, for example, on this World Fact File, no problem, there are many other sources, libraries are there, so you can counter check information. This is how you can bring in, the credibility. Another important, link is Encyclopedia of Quotations. If you wanna, bring color or bring beauty, or you wanna decor your writing, so you can, take help from this link. Different authors, quotations are there on different subjects. They are categorized according to the subject. They're categorized according to the authors. And, the relevant quotations, of course, you can download and you can use in your writing to make your writing more colorful, to bring in your writing variety, to break the monotony also. See, when you use different sources of information, when you use different, sayings of people about that very subject, with acknowledgement, when you quote all that stuff, you bring beauty, you bring color, to that information. So its address is also there. You can note down. Then, rather, 2 encyclopedias, I have given. One is Columbia Encyclopedia and the Encyclopedia of World History. Again, these are Columbia Special Encyclopedia is very, very important, which, of course, you can, consult for information. Another encyclopedia is the World History. Its address is also there. And there are 2 more encyclopedia, which is Britannica and Americana. So 4 encyclopedias links I have given you. 1, Columbia. 2nd, the Encyclopedia of History. Then Britannica and Americana. Britannica, of course, is the oldest, probably more than 200 years old, its age is. And it's available, I guess, in more than 30 volume, Americana is the 2nd oldest. It's also available, I guess, near about, 30 volume. Information, of course, here is extremely credible and, authentic. You can, of course, use that. Plus, I have given you another important link, which is about the writing style. Of course, we always, need the help of great masters, their pieces of advice and all, how to, craft out for our readers, our messages. So the link, very important one, which is a book actually, full-fledged book is there, written by William Strunk, The Element of Style. Of course, you can occasionally just go through parts of this book and see how it can, help you and make things, clear. This is how you can, collect information from libraries and from internet. I gave you top 10 search engines and I gave you 8 highly valuable links which are extremely user-friendly and they can help you, collect information for your writing. Third important source, external source of information is resource people. Look around you, in your community, or in different, let's say academic world, for example, in different colleges, universities, in different organizations, in different companies, there are people who are masters of the art. So you can always go to them and you can interview them, and collect information from their experience and observation. For this, of course, you'll be needing a questionnaire. See, I'll again take you back to the same steps. Keep topic in your mind, keep purpose in your mind, keep reader in your mind, and keep different sources which you have already collected. Keep that stuff in your mind. After keeping this whole stuff, now check your needs. How much more you need? How, what is left undone, what you have done, keeping all that stuff in mind, then prepare a questionnaire. Okay? Of course, in this course, probably towards the tail end of this course, we'll be, of course, talking about interview skills and all. But just to give you a brief idea, keeping all this stuff in mind, prepare, some questions. And you can have a kind of a tape recorder also. You can go to those resource people and, you can ask them your questions. Try one important thing. Your job should be, because, these sometimes, rather, frankly speaking, most of the time, actually, these masters of the art, I would say, they enjoy digressing from the actual point. So your job is, as an interview, what? Keep those resource persons onto the point, onto the topic, so that, you could get your results. Not end up with something which you either already knew, or you knew which you don't, or you got which you didn't need, actually. So try to prepare a very intelligent, very probing questionnaire, and then, stick to your questions, and don't let your resource person digress, every time, and then, get piece of information, bring it home, compare it, with other already collected information, and this is how, of course, you can use this one. Let's now move towards our third important point of this process, and that is organizing. Okay, now what is organizing? Look, we have collected now information from all different, sources, internal and external. And all those pieces of information, they are lying right in front of us on our desk. Organizing actually means preparing an outline. Outline means, of course, there are three very important features of an outline. That there should be a very nice introduction. Introduction, should serve a few purposes. For example, it should grab your reader's attention, and it should prepare the reader for the upcoming technical details. Grab reader's attention and prepare him what is coming next. This is the function of introduction. So have something for introduction. Number two, the body of your writing. Now, of course, body means, the discussion, the actual point of your writing. Here you'll have arguments. Here you'll have descriptions. You'll have examinations. You have analysis. You will try to illustrate. So that is the actual part of your writing, which has to be highly, highly convincing with the help of facts and figures which you've collected from different, sources. And the third, of course, is the conclusion. Conclusion means helping your reader reach some point, and that point actually is the desired point. Like in certain processes you studied, controlling point. So conclusion actually is a controlling stage, where if it was persuasive writing, for example, so in conclusion, you make him finalize or make him come down to that very point where, you check the final measures which could ultimately, of course, change his behavior. So organizing means starting from your introduction and then body and, of course, conclusion. Now, ask yourself different questions. You have pieces of information, dispersed in front of you on your desk. Ask yourself question, how you're going to start your writing actually. What should come first in your introduction, what should come second, what should come third. How to set the scene actually for your readers so that, you could gradually, slowly, take your readers towards the complicated and complex, side of your writing. So what should be in introduction? And then ask yourself what should be in the body of your writing and in the conclusion. So this is how you prepare an outline. This is what actually in the beginning I was saying, that process should help you to let you begin with the end in mind. So this organization, this kind of outline thing, that where from you'll be starting and where at you'll be ending or reaching, now that is very much in front of you. Simply this is the skeleton of your writing, and information is there. You are going to beef up this skeleton or add flesh to this skeleton, and of course your writing will be very much done. So after organizing, and another important thing I just recalled, if you remember in our previous classes, we talked about direct and indirect organizations. This is also very important. It depends upon the purpose in your mind or the subject at hand, that what or even the situation actually in which you are writing, that what organization you should give to your writing. Should it be direct opening or indirect opening? Of course, you studied in your early classes that if your writing or the situation is non-sensitive, for example, about the daily light matters of life, then of course there is no harm in organizing or giving direct organization to your writing. If you're discussing something serious where people or readers may be emotionally involved actually, or chances are that people will have lots of doubts and reservations, for example, or apprehensions, let's say, or chances are that readers they will be extremely biased, or highly partial, for example. So you then cannot start your writing straight away from your purpose and then going down to the body and the conclusion. Rather, you then have to be a little more creative and innovative by giving your writing a start which somehow will be indirect in nature, and slowly, cleverly, very, tactfully preparing your readers for something which perhaps they were not expecting from you, or they were not expecting that, you'll be discussing these sensitive issues. So this is all you can prepare your readers for something sensitive, and then, you can bring them down to the body and the conclusion, and this is how, it can be done. A very generic, streetwise approach is, we call it prospective approach. Everything starts from the face, and then the torso, and then the leg and the feet, which we call as, head and tail. Things should move in prospective order of your writing. Things always move from the head and then go down to the toe. It doesn't happen that, you start somewhere from the middle, and then you bring your readers at the start, and then again you let them dip down to the toe. Of course, you'll be confusing your readers. So try to follow a very simple organization of your writing, so that readers may not get confused, or may not get grabbed by unwanted things. So prospective order, which is a streetwise global order, is always good. That start from the most important, go down to the least important, and then of course conclude your things. As I told you that some readers are going to be skimmers and some are skeptics. Of course, skeptics are going to read your work from first page to the last page. They're going to read, if it's a newspaper, for example, they're going to read, from the headline to down to your final points. If they are skimmers, for example, they are going to skip things. So if your writing is in prospective order, even if they skip, it doesn't harm much. You know why? Of course, they know that starting point, if they skip, no problem. The actual point, which we call the body, are going to be in the sandwiched form, so they still can, go down and reading that body, that important part of information, and then they know, like, after this body, gonna come conclusion, and, still they're safe. If your writing order is not prospective, for example, you started from somewhere, the middle, and then you came back to the early part of it, then again you took your readers down to the conclusion, and in conclusion again you started discussing something new. It means skimmers, of course, they won't be able to skim your writing. So prospective order is something which is safe also, which is practical also. It's easy to follow as well. The same one, have something for introduction, have something for debate, and have something to conclude. This is organizing your information. Now, let's talk about the next stage in this process. That is, of course, drafting stage. What comes in drafting stage? Now, of course, this is the time when you start writing the documentation. You start, writing about that very topic which you started, exploring and digging about and all. A few simple thoughts on drafting. That first of all, of course, everybody has his own style of drafting. Some people enjoy with the music on. Some people enjoy with complete silence around them. So have your own way. But I would suggest the advisability is that choose extremely comfortable place, where you do not have much distractions. Why I'm saying this? Because drafting stage is very sensitive. This is a rewarding stage, actually. If you are discomforted, for example, sitting in an uncomfortable place with lots of distractions, every second minute, you have to receive phone calls. Every next minute, you have visitors, for example. Of course, they are going to distract you, and of course, you won't be able to, coalesce, disperse information down onto your pad with that organization in mind. I mean to say, sit in a very comfortable place, have no, distractions, make yourself highly comfortable. If you're good at, working with pen and paper, you can write it down. Or if you are sort of like techo person, so you can type it, go your own way. Make sure you do not have distractions in drafting. Then comes the next second last stage, which is, let's say, revising stage. Now, revising stage is very important. The one which we always say, rewriting. You have written, okay, now you're going to rewrite. Why we rewrite? Drafting stage is simply, putting your ideas into words, okay? Keeping that outline which you prepared in organizing stage in mind. Now, revising means, you will revise for many things. You will revise, you will check whether your opening is suitable and appropriate. You will check that whether your paragraphing is enough, or you can, make or break paragraphs. You will check, the unity of your paragraphs. Maybe at places you feel like merging the paragraphs, at places you feel like, separating those. Then you will, of course, revise that. Chances are that some ideas cannot very usefully explain information through words. So maybe over there you feel like introducing some illustrations, for example, to make your writing more effective and concrete by introducing some graphs or some tables or some charts. Of course, like these illustrations can make readers' job easy. So rewriting, of course, is very much important. And then, of course, in rewriting, in revising or rewriting, what you do actually, you check the prospective order also of your this product. That is there any I mean, my sequence and progression of my writing is there or not? Any paragraph. Sometimes, what happens actually in revising stage, you delete a lot many information, I mean, which you feel that, perhaps this is making me out of focus, or this is sort of, readers will feel that here perhaps, writer was digressing from the actual point. So revising is something which is very, very important. It means actually doing something twice, in other words, drafting and revising. Some writers, they feel that it's, difficult to read your own written. I would advise them that don't, hatch this feeling. It's very, very important to give a second visit. Even at times, if you feel, no problem, give a third, visit to your reading also, till the time, it becomes something presentable, something perfect, in nature, to the T. You have put in many efforts. You've done such a hard work in collecting information, and then, of course, in organizing your information, and then, of course, drafting that information. And now is the time to keep the purpose, and the reader in your mind, and then revise things. Make your document, the ruling advice for you is, make your document compact. Everything, make sure in revising, actually, everything should hold together. These two, number one, make your writing extremely compact. Delete whatever is needed. Add whatever is needed in revising stage. And make it things hold together. There should be a sequence. There should be a progression. There should be a logic in your argumentation. And this is how, you complete the stage. Don't forget, revising is the one which gives you a test of completion also. In revising, in drafting, you don't know actually how much is, how much will be complete or how less will be, complete. It's the revising stage in which you decide whether my message is complete, my message is concrete, is it clear? So this is your revising actually. And the last stage of this writing process, which is another very important, rather I would say, this is fine-tuning. I mean, I cannot use a better word, which is proofreading. Proofreading means fine-tuning your writing. Here, the lower aspects of your writing, you are going to, correct them. And people say, people are not known by how big things they take, rather how small things, they take in mind. So proofreading helps you to finalize your product. And please keep in mind, sometimes, you feel it rather difficult to proofread your own document. So I would suggest that, you involve your friends also. Give your writing to your friend, for example. Give your writing to your brother or your sister, for example, your colleague, for example, that he should give a look of, he should take a look of that piece and see, different errors, if possible, they could find out. Another very interesting way of proofreading is, don't, proofread it from A towards Z. Rather, come backwards actually. Start from Z towards A. For example, if I say, she's looking nice. Now, when you proofread this sentence, she's looking nice, maybe that you are not reading words. You are again reading a full-fledged sentence. But when you come backwards, for example, She's looking nice. So backward means, you'll see nice, looking, is she. So backward coming means not sentence reading, not paragraph reading, word reading. And proofreading is actually at word level, not at a sentence level. First at word level. Now I have jotted down some very important points, what to proofread and how to proofread. And I'll present before you. You can see on your screen that content thing you have to proofread, format thing you have to proofread, and mechanics you're going to proofread. 3 things. Number 1, content. Number 2, the format. And number 3, mechanics. Let's take a look of how to proofread the content. Ask yourself the questions, which I have written down for you. Ask yourself the first question, did I stick to my point? As far as content is concerned, ask yourself this question, did I stick to my point? Use good source and enough sources of information? Did I organize my information carefully? Did I check my facts? This is very important point. Did I check my facts? Counter-checking. Because facts, if they're wrong, spoil your writing. So did I check my facts? Did I use illustration? Illustration, again, the same thing, that using graphs, using some pictures, using some charts, using some diagrams, they make your writing for the reader easy to understand. And did I consider my readers? And did I use sufficient details and descriptions? And this is what actually the content thing. The second one is format. Ask yourself these 6 questions. Number 1, did I choose an appropriate title? The title of your writing has to be very appropriate. Number 2, did I use quotations correctly? I mean, if you are quoting someone, make sure that his words you quote very carefully. Number 3, did I use headings and subheadings? Number 4, did I label graphs, charts, and tables? Labeling charts, graphs, and table means that you are using it as an image, and you have to caption it, that what exactly that table, graph, or that pie chart, etc. thing talk about. Next one, did I include a list of resources or bibliography? Extremely important point. I would say the most important point. Make sure if you have used someone's material, make sure that you have acknowledged him, you have given the details of his work over there, so that people may not say that you have committed plagiarism. Ask yourself, did I number the pages? So this is how you check the format. And the last, very important, is mechanics. Like number 1, did I check sentences for completeness and sense? Did I check for consistent verb tense? Did I check for consistent point of view? Did I check for subject-verb agreement? Did I check for proper use of pronouns? Did I check all spellings? Did I check for end marks and other punctuation? Did I check for capital letters and underlining? Did I check my paragraphing? And did I check my legibility? Now, these are 3 important, areas of your proofreading. And some of these areas we are going to discuss in our next classes, when we'll be talking about grammatical sentence, effective sentence, paragraphing, and some, of course, mechanics we'll be talking about in the next classes. I hope you understood what writing process is. Of course, it's not a small thing. It helps you to make impossible possible, not approachable approachable, and manageable practical. And it can help you see the whole act actually in stage forms. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion about the writing process. Keep this 6-stage writing process your way of doing things. With this, I'll call it a day. Take care of yourself and each other. See you next time with a new topic. Bye-bye.